Hello friends, so in today's video I thought I'd do something a little bit different, and instead of doing a normal sit-down video, I would show you my little study routine. Since I am doing a master's in translation, most of my study routine is focused around that. So I'm currently mostly working on law-related things for a big exam that I have coming up in January, and that's kind of what I'm mostly studying for. So before we get started, I wanted to show you the few things that are my study essentials. The first thing is this notebook that is actually University of Vienna merch. Then I have this little book, which is just my to-do list that I keep in this little notebook. And finally, I have my planner for the year. I really like this brand. I think these are so cute. Since I am learning Japanese, I really like working with flashcards because they help you remember the kanji together with the meaning of the word, basically. So you have like another piece of data. And then finally, I have my little denshijisho. This is a electronic dictionary from Japanese to English. I think it also has Japanese to German on it. I don't use this all the time. I mainly use a dictionary on my phone, but I do like to have it with me and like use it occasionally so I don't get out of the habit, or out of the routine of using it, because during my exams, this will be the only dictionary I'm allowed to use, so I can't use my phone or anything else that's like online. Another essential I need to have is my coffee. Today I'm using this really cute penguin mug that is really reminding me of winter. So the first thing that I do every single day is check my to-do list. I try to write my whole to-do list in Japanese so that it's like a little bit of extra little practice. And I don't really have like a structure of like, this is what I do this day. I basically just add it. And then once I've done it, I will cross it off. It's that simple, because I found that daily to-do lists don't really work for me because it just stress me out when I don't do everything that's on it immediately. And so I find this sort of long-term version a little bit more comfortable. So one of the first things I like to do is to check on the Moodle platform of my university if there's anything that, like a deadline coming up that I missed, or just if there's some new content uploaded. And then today I have decided to do a little task that is due tomorrow actually, so I'm kind of late on that. And it's just this little text that I needed to translate from Japanese to German about the role of judges in the law system, basically. And this is how I do it. I just split the sentences up and then translate them one by one. Sometimes I needed to check a term that I wasn't familiar with and make sure that I'm translating it to a term that exists within the Austrian legal system, not mix it up with the German accidentally. And then, this is just a rough translation. I like to first do a rough translation and then sort of leave it for a few hours and come back and work on the finer things and like make it sound like natural, good, high quality German, and not like these weird sentences that sometimes come out when you do a rough first translation. Once I've completed that, I turn to my flashcards. I'm trying to do this as regularly as possible, but sometimes I just really can't be bothered. It's kind of tedious work, but needs to be done. So first I go through the ones that I didn't know last time, make sure that I know them now, and of course some I still don't know, so I put them to the side. And then I turn to writing new flashcards. I'm currently working on the glossary that I used last semester for the same class. I'm retaking it, not because I failed or anything, but just for practice. And I felt like re-familiarizing myself with these terms and making sure that I know them is really helpful. Not necessarily for everyday language use, but specifically for my exam, because it means I'll have to look up less. And therefore, obviously, waste less time. And then the final thing I like to focus on is not only understanding the individual words, but also understanding how the system works itself. So our teacher linked us to this really helpful website where a lot of the Japanese legal system is explained in very simple terms. And also, fortunately, the Japanese legal system is basically copied off of the Austrian one. So it's really not that difficult to find the equivalences because they're inherently there. But I still like to kind of copy down some things, how the system works and stuff like that. Not only because it will help me retain the content of what I'm writing, but also because, practicing writing these sentences and the kanji and how the subjects and the verbs sort of correspond, all that good stuff. It's really, really helpful in my opinion. And so I like to just take those notes, and I'm writing in pencil because I make a lot of mistakes, and otherwise the page would look really messy, and I can't have that. Once I was done with that, I jumped on Skype for about 1.5 hours to help my boyfriend's sister with English. I'm basically her English tutor, which I find really fun. And so we were just practicing writing a story today. Then I took a break and finally had some lunch because it was already like 3 p.m. at this point. I then spent most of the remaining day just working on this video, to be honest, and not really studying. But something I do like to incorporate into every single day as much as possible is some other form of Japanese. So whether it be I watch a YouTube video by some of my favorite Japanese YouTubers, or I watch an episode of like a TV show, or I listen to a bit of a podcast, or I read a little bit. You probably recognize this book if you follow me on Instagram. I've been reading this for a very long time and I'm still not done. It doesn't really matter to me personally what I do. I just want to have some other form of exposure to Japanese during my day. I think it's just like a nice, very positive habit to incorporate into your everyday life. It's very easy to pick up because you're literally asking so little of yourself with this. It's just nice, and you do feel more productive when you do this because you feel like even though it's just a tiny little bit, you're continuously working on your language. And yeah, that's kind of what my study routine looked like today. It doesn't look this exact same way every single day, obviously, but I do like to incorporate these elements and, go back to that every day and like do a little bit of something at least. Again, I don't manage every single day, but I find that really works for me to have like that bit of routine. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting. Leave any further questions or anything else you'd like to share in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!